Engineering College have prepared videos pertaining to Diploma CET of Computer Science, Electronics and Mechanical streams. This is the third part of Module 5 in for Mechanical Engineering, which includes Total Quality Management or TQM. In these videos, we have been discussing various questions, the options pertaining to those questions, the correct answer, and a brief explanation of why that answer is correct. Let us continue our discussion. The first question in this part is, where was TQM, Total Quality Management, first developed? The options are USA, China, Japan, England. The correct answer is C, Japan. TQM is the concept that was developed in Japan after World War II, especially in Toyota manufacturing system. It was developed by Americans, in fact, like Deming, Juran, and Feigenbaum, but the concept was implemented in Japan, and hence we say that the TQM was first developed in Japan. The original name of TQM is CWQC, Company Wide Quality Control. The second question is, TQM focuses on employees, customers, suppliers, all the above. The correct answer is D, all the above. Total quality management, we can see that here it focuses on customers, it focuses on continuous improvement, focuses on zero defects, focuses on training and development. It doesn't just stop within the organization, it goes beyond the organization to include even customers as well as suppliers, and hence the answer is D. The next question is, PDCA stands for Plan, Do, Check, Act, Plan, Do, Correct, Act, Proceed, Do, Check, Act, Proceed, Do, Correct, Act. The correct answer is A, that is Plan, Do, Check, Act. This is a cycle also known as PDCA cycle or PDSA cycle, or even it is also called as Deming's cycle. It appears like this: PDCA. Edward Deming started this cycle, and hence it is also called as Deming's cycle. The fourth question is, benefits of TQM are customer satisfaction, waste reduction, reduced defects, all the above. The correct answer is all the above. The benefits of TQM are normally improved quality, employee participation, teamwork, working relationships, customer satisfaction. From the options we can see that customer satisfaction, waste reduction, reduced defects, all these things are benefits of TQM which are covered under this, and hence the answer is D, all the above. The next question is, what is ISO? Is it Indian Organization for Standards, Internal Organization for Standards, International Organization for Standardization, or none of the above? The correct answer is answer C. This symbol you would have seen with many of the companies saying that we are an ISO certified company. ISO certified company means it follows a standard procedure for manufacturing to ensure that quality products come out of the company, and hence this is a company which follows the standards as per the international level. And whenever we want to do some exports, ISO certified companies will have an advantage, that is the advantage of going for ISO, which is International Organization for Standardization. Hence the answer is C. The next question is, the objective of ISO 9000 family of quality management is customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, skill enhancement, environmental issues. The correct answer is answer A, customer satisfaction. ISO 9000 family of quality management is always interested towards customer satisfaction. In fact, it was started to meet the requirements of the customers, and hence the answer is A. ISO 9000 refers to vocabulary, use of standards for quality systems, model for quality assurance in design, development, inspection and service, model for quality assurance in production and installation. The correct answer is answer A, vocabulary. There are three standards under ISO 9000. First one is ISO 9000 2005, ISO 9001 2015, ISO 9004. ISO 9000 refers to fundamentals and vocabulary, ISO 9001 refers to requirements, and ISO 9004 refers to guidelines for performance improvements. These are the three levels. First level refers to fundamentals and vocabulary, second level refers to requirements, and the third level refers to performance improvement. Since here it is the first level, it is related to vocabulary, and hence the answer is A, that is vocabulary. Question is EMS stands for Employee Management System, Engineering Management System, Equipment Management System, Environmental Management System. The correct answer is answer D, Environmental Management System. EMS is another part of ISO. ISO 14001 is an environmental management system exclusively used to protect the environment, sustainability of the environment. Any organization which manufactures products related to environment like plastic bottles or disposal of waste, they need to comply by this ISO 14001, without which they cannot continue the manufacturing of their products, and hence the answer is D, or environmental management system. The next question is ISO emphasizes on prevention, inspection, rejection, all the above. The correct answer is answer A, prevention. The goal of ISO 9000 is to embed the quality management system within an organization by increasing the productivity, by reducing the unnecessary costs, and ensuring quality of processes and products. These things can be achieved when we try to prevent the failure of any product, prevent the failure of any processes, and hence it emphasizes on prevention rather than firefighting, that is doing the correction after the mistake has occurred. It tries to prevent the mistakes from occurring, and hence the answer is A. Question is, which is the right combination of ascending order of documentation in ISO procedure? Procedure, policy, records and work instruction, policy, procedure, work instruction and records, policy, work instruction, procedure and records, policy, procedure, records and work instruction. What is the correct order? The correct answer is answer B. This is the correct order of documentation in ISO procedure. Level 1 indicates quality manual, level 2 indicates procedure, level 3 indicates instruction, and level 4 indicates records and documentation. Level 1 is a very brief indication of quality manual, level 2 is a little bit more detailed, level 3 is detailed than the procedures, that is instructions given to the operators, and the last one, level 4, records and documents, which is the most detailed document in the series of documentation of ISO procedure, and hence answer is B. Match the following for the questions of column A to the answers of column B. Just now we discussed that Edward Deming has also prepared PDSA cycle. And Ishikawa has developed cause and effect diagram. Kaoru Ishikawa, a Toyota man, he has developed cause and effect diagram, which is also called as fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagram. Variation also occurs due to there are two causes of variation, common causes and special causes, and the last one D to 2. And hence from the options available we can see that answer C is the correct answer. Question is, statistical quality control is based on theory of relativity, theory of probability, theory of profitability, or none of the above. The correct answer is answer B, that is theory of probability. Statistical quality control is the term used to describe the set of statistical tools used by quality professionals. Statistical quality control helps us to control the process. If we control the process to meet the requirements, obviously waste reduction will take place, quality improvement will take place, and hence the quality control is better done using a statistical quality control. This quality statistical quality control normally uses the theory of probability because we cannot predict everything in a perfect way. That's why it uses the theory of probability, and hence the answer is B. The next question is, which is of the following is not a correct definition of quality? Fitness to cost, fitness to standards, fitness to use, and fitness to inspection. The correct answer is fitness to inspection, that is answer D. From our regular definition of quality, we can understand that quality was defined as fitness to standards during 1930s, fitness to cost during 1950s, fitness to use during 1960s, but later the definition of quality has changed from just from being fitness to goodness to fitness to requirements. That is the latest definition of quality. It has to be required by the customer. Customers should enjoy that quality of the product. It should not just meet the expectations of the customers, it should exceed the expectations of the customers, and hence we have moved from just from by being fitness to standards to fitness to requirements nowadays, and hence the answer is fitness to inspection, which is not a definition of quality. The next question is, match the following. These are the four options, which is the correct option. Okay, let us analyze these options. Circle symbol. Circle symbol is a part of the process flow chart which indicates end of operations A to 3. Pareto analysis. B. Pareto analysis, it gives the picture of very vital few. It is used in data analysis. X bar means, X bar is normally terminology used to indicate the average value. C2, where is that? A3, B4, C2, and hence the correct answer is answer B. The next question is, match the following. The options are A to 2, B to 3, C to 4, D to 1. Quality trilogy. Quality trilogy was identified by Joseph Juran. Kaizen. Kaizen means continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. It was started by Masaki Imai. It is known as Imai's Kaizen. Fishbone diagram, we have already discussed that Ishikawa indicated that or started that. Design of experiment is the contribution of Taguchi, and hence the correct answer is, or the combination is answer B, that is A to 3, B to 1, C to 4, and D to 2. Is control chart is process monitoring tool, process control tool, process planning tool. Whether only one is correct? 1 and 2 are correct, 1, 2 and 3 are correct, or none of the above. The correct answer is control chart is normally used to monitor a process by monitoring the process and telling that whether the process is under control or not, and hence the correct answer is B. This is how a process control chart appears. It will have an upper control limit, the average output and the lower control limit. All the pods must be within this upper control limit and the lower control limit. As long as all the pods are within the control limits, the process is said to be under control. If any of the pods move out of these two control limits, we declare that the process is not under control, and hence we can both monitor the process as well as declare that the process is under control or not, and hence the answer is B, 1 and 2. The same thing has been explained here. Next question is, cause and effect diagram is used to identify and organize possible causes of problem, identify possible causes of solution, identify possible causes of problem, and determining its relationship. Whether only 1 is correct, 1 and 3 are correct, 2 and 3 are correct, 1, 2 and 3, all 3 are correct. The correct answer is answer B, 1 and 3. Cause and effect diagram identified or started by Kaworu Ishikawa. It is also called as a fishbone diagram. This is how it appears. At the left hand side we have a problem for which these are the solutions. Okay, and this appears like a fishbone diagram. It is used to identify and organize the possible causes of a problem. See, these are the possible causes of a problem. You can see that here. This is the problem, and these are all the possible causes: material, measurement, machine, method, environment or employee. All these things may result in diameter out of specification. The turned out diameter not meeting the specification might have occurred because of all these reasons. It helps us to identify and organize this. You can see that it has identified the reason, it has organized them properly. And next option is identify possible causes of solution. It doesn't give you possible causes of solution, but it not only just identifies the possible causes of a problem, it has nothing to do with the solution. It just identifies the possible causes of a problem. Not only that, it tries to derive the relationship between them. That is the beauty of this cause and effect diagram, and hence the answer is B, that is 1 and 3. We have identified here whatever we have explained, everything is given in this definition. The next question is, improving quality through small incremental improvements is the characteristic of which quality management system? The options are innovation, Muda, 5S, Kaizen. The correct answer is Kaizen. Kaizen, this is how it is written in Japanese language. Kai means change, Zen means good. It is the definition of continuous improvement. You can see that here we should not be stagnant. We should keep on improving, and after some time there may be some sudden innovations, but after innovating we should not become straight line. Again we should keep on improving, sudden innovation, keep on improving. This keep on improving is known as continuous improvement, or in Japanese language they call it as kaizen, that is changing for better or good. So when it is continuously done, it is called as continuous improvement, and it is incremental, it is not sudden changes. So incremental improvements are the characteristics of kaizen. Is which are the steps of 5S? sort, set in order, shine, all the above. The answer is D. This is how 5S is indicated. It is again a very prominent process of maintaining the manufacturing system using 5S. 5S indicates Siri, Seton, Shiso, Shiketsu, Shitsuke, or sorting, setting order, shining, standardize, and sustain. You can indicate that all these are a part of 5S, and hence the answer is D. The next question is Pareto analysis table data has to be arranged in ascending order, any order, descending order, none of the above. The correct answer is answer C, descending order. This is how the Pareto chart appears. The most important one are put first, next important second, next important third, least importance are indicated at the end. So it goes on decreasing as we move from left towards right, and hence the data is arranged in descending order, and hence the answer is C. This is the definition of Pareto chart. This is very important to get the most important reasons for a particular problem. The next question is Six Sigma represents dash type of curve based on theory of probability. Normal curve, exponential curve, Z curve, or T curve. The correct answer is answer A, that is normal curve. This is how Six Sigma curve is represented. We have already discussed that statistical quality control is based on theory of probability. Six Sigma is a part of that statistical quality control, and it follows a normal curve. Why it is a normal curve? Most of the data follows this particular shape, a bell-shaped curve called as normal curve. If we take the example of your marks distribution, most of the people will be at a range of 50 to 60 or 50 to 70. Very few people will fail and very few people will get more than 80. That's why this area indicates where people failing. This is the area indicates where maximum students will score the marks, and this is the area that indicates few people scoring very high marks, and this is true for most of the data. That is why it is called as normal. Normally most of the data follow this pattern of distribution. The everything that is explained in this, whether it is the case of defects, whether it is the case of employee morale, whether it is the case of profits, everything will follow this kind of normal distribution. The next question is the probable number of defect rate if the process follows 6 sigma is 63 ppm, 3.4 ppm, 0 defect, or 0.27%. The correct answer is answer B, 3.4 ppm. What is ppm? ppm indicates parts per million, or it is also termed as DPMO, defects per million opportunities. Six Sigma is a process which helps us to control the process in a better way. When we control the process in a better way, quality will improve, employee satisfaction will take place, defects will reduce, and hence it gives more profit to the company. So when I reach the Six Sigma level, I say that there are 3.4 defects per million opportunities, which means when I produce million products, million means 10 lakh products, there could be 3.44 defects. It's not that there will be 3.44 defects, there could be 3.44 defects per 1 million, that is 10 lakhs. Just compare this with 2 sigma level. When you are following 2 sigma level, you may have 3,08,770 defects per million opportunities. That is, your achievement level is just about 69%. Whereas when you achieve Six Sigma level, your quality percentage is 99.99966%. This is the dramatic improvement when we move from 2 Sigma level to Six Sigma level. Nowadays, most of the companies follow this Six Sigma level. Without this Six Sigma level, it is very difficult to survive in this competitive world. Is the inspection done at or near the machine is called as floor inspection, centralized inspection, sampling inspection, or none of the above. The correct answer is A, that is floor inspection. Centralized inspection is done at a particular centralized place, not moving to shop floor, whereas sampling inspection is a technique that is done by picking few samples from the lot, whereas floor inspection is done by actually moving to the shop floor, going near the machine and doing the inspection, and hence the answer is A. Question is, acceptance sampling is widely used in batch production, job shop production, mass production, all the above. The correct answer is answer C. Since mass production involves huge number of products being produced, acceptance sampling is very important, or it's prevalent in mass production, wherein 100% inspection is not feasible. We pick few samples from a large lot, and based on the sampling inspection, we say that whether the lot is acceptable or not. We will move on to the last part under this module 5. This includes maintenance and environment. The first question under this section is, maintenance consists of the following action or actions: replace of component, B, repair of component, C, service of component, D, all the above. The correct answer is D, all the above. Maintenance involves functional checks, servicing, repairing or replacing of necessary devices, equipment, machinery, building infrastructure, and supporting utilities in industry, in business, government, and residential installations. You can see that here it involves replacement of components, repair of components, service of components, and hence there is the all the above. The next question is, the time elapsed from the point the machine fails to perform its function to the point it is repaired and brought into operating condition is known as repair time, breakdown time, maintenance time, and idle time. The correct answer is breakdown time. Let us see the definitions. There are few aspects related to maintenance. Mean time to repair is the mean time, average time that that is taken to diagnose the problem and repair a machine. Breakdown time is the time that starts ticking from the moment machine breaks down or stops working till it is repaired, that is made it up and starts running. So, and hence the answer is breakdown time. Maintenance time is the total time that is used for both preventive maintenance as well as corrective maintenance. Idle time is the total time that a machine remains idle. It may be proper, it's not down, but it is idle because it is not working, maybe due to lack of order. That's why the correct answer is B, that is breakdown time. Next question is, the following is not a classification of maintenance: corrective maintenance, timely maintenance, scheduled maintenance, preventive maintenance. The correct answer is answer B, timely maintenance. Normally there are many types of maintenance called preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, scheduled maintenance, breakdown maintenance, predictive maintenance, we can see that timely maintenance is not seen in any of these classifications, and hence the correct answer is timely maintenance, which is not a classification of maintenance. Question is, belt of an electric motor is broken. It needs to be then corrected through corrective maintenance, scheduled maintenance, preventive maintenance, or timely maintenance. The correct answer is answer A, corrective maintenance. Belt of an electric motor has already been broken. That means the damage has occurred. Now we cannot prevent it. Hence it has to be corrected. Hence the correct answer is corrective maintenance. Whereas preventive maintenance is used when even before the breakdown occurs. It tries to avoid breakdowns. Whereas scheduled maintenance is a regular process of making the inspections, making the adjustments, giving the regular service, and providing the planned shutdowns. In this case, since the belt of the electric motor is broken, we have to only correct it, and hence the answer is A. Predictive maintenance is a timely maintenance procedure wherein it tries to predict when the equipment may fail, and before that particular failure occurs, we will do some scheduled maintenance. Question is, equipment history cards are meant to record the way equipment behaves, total downtime of the equipment, the rate at which the different components wear off, all the above. The correct answer is D. Machine history card is one of the most required records that help to maintain each of the machine's details. Equipment history cards is the record of the machine, when it was broken down, why it happened, how the repair was done, how much cost was incurred on the repair. Everything is recorded in that particular history card of a particular equipment. Here we can see that the history card will indicate how equipment behaves, total downtime, the rate at which the different components wear off, when the maintenance was done. It includes all the above, and hence the answer is D. With the increase of preventive maintenance costs, breakdown maintenance cost increases or decreases, remains same, or any of the above. The correct answer is B, it decreases. We can very easily understand that when the preventive maintenance cost increases, that means I am trying to avoid the failure of a particular machine. So as a result, what will happen? Obviously breakdown maintenance will reduce. As the preventive maintenance increases, you can see that here preventive maintenance is increasing, breakdown maintenance is decreasing. Okay, and this is the optimal total maintenance cost. There should not be too much of preventive maintenance cost, or there should not be too much of breakdown maintenance. So at some point of time they break even. That is called as the optimum maintenance cost. So it should be balanced, preventive as well as breakdown. A systematic approach for maintenance is problem, cause, diagnosis, rectification, problem, diagnosis, cause, rectification, problem, measure, diagnosis, rectification, or problem, diagnosis, measure, rectification. Which one do we first work? Which is the correct order? The correct answer is A. That means first we will identify the problem, we shall identify the causes of that problem, we will diagnose the correct reasons, and then we will go for the rectification, and hence answer is A. Question is, total productive maintenance aims at less idle time, reduction in the zero time, increase in the productivity, or none of the above? The correct answer is reduction of the downtime, or aiming towards zero downtime. Preventive maintenance improves material productivity, labor productivity, machine productivity, or capital productivity. Preventive maintenance is related to machine, and hence it improves machine productivity. The next question is, first aid is temporary and immediate care given to the victim, permanent care given to the victim, both A and B, neither A or B. We can very easily understand that first aid is normally a temporary and immediate care given to a victim to come out of the immediate trauma or damage that has occurred to the victim, and hence answer is A. The next question is, which class of fire extinguishers used for petrol or diesel? Class A, B, C, or none of the above? Correct answer is class B. Let us understand the different classes. There are two classes. I mean to say there are three classes. Class A belongs to the fires that involve solid or organic materials such as wood, plastics, textiles, or coal. Class B indicates the fires that involves flammable liquids such as petroleum, oil, paint, or diesel. Class C indicates flammable gases such as propane, butane, methane. A belongs to solids, B belongs to flammable liquids, C belongs to flammable gases. Since petrol, diesel is flammable liquids, the correct answer is answer B. Is handy fire extinguishers kept in chemical plants are containing dry chemical powder, carbon dioxide, either A or B, or foam. The correct answer is answer A, dry chemical powder. The hand operated fire extinguishers, normally they use dry chemical powder to extinguish fires. That is sodium bicarbonate. That is normally used in class B or class C fires. It was the first dry chemical agents developed. The heat of a fire, it releases a cloud of carbon dioxide that smothers the fire. It just releases a cloud of carbon dioxide. That dry chemical powder containing sodium carbonate just develops a cloud of carbon dioxide that extinguishes the fire. That is normally used for class B or class C, that is flammable gases or flammable liquids. The next question is, safety in industry helps in reduction of production cost, improving the life of the machinery, increasing the rate of production, all the above. We can very easily understand that safety in industry helps not only to reduce the production cost, because safer environment improves the production rate, it improves the life of the machinery, increases the rate of production, and hence the answer is D, all the above. The next question is, industrial safety management is that branch of management which is concerned with dash hazards from the industry, whether it reduces the hazards, controls the hazards, eliminates the hazards, or all the above. The correct answer is D. We can very easily understand that the safety management is not just for reducing the hazards, it should also control the hazards, and it should eliminate the hazards from the industry, so that the entire industry could be safe and healthy. No damage is occurred in the industry, and hence the answer is D. The next question is, for household wiring and small units, the following should be used for safety measures: MCB, ACB, OCB, MCCB. The correct answer is answer A. We all know that for household purposes we use a simple circuit breaker called as miniature circuit breaker, or MCB. It's a small trip switch that is used in the circuit board, which cuts the circuit in case of heavy current, heavy load coming to domestic circuit. This will help the electrical appliances present in the house from electrical shocks in case of heavy lightning occurring or in case of heavy current flowing in the line. Our electrical appliances are protected using MCB, and hence the answer is A. The next question is, which of the following are the most common causes of accidents in the workplace? Fatigue and stress, age and experience, poor lighting and other physical conditions, all the above. The correct answer is answer D. These are the reasons for accidents that occur in a workplace: lifting heavy loads, fatigue, dehydration, poor lighting, hazardous materials, acts of workplace violence, trips and falls, or stress. From the above choices, we can see that all these points are covered under these causes of accidents in the workplace, and hence the answer is D. The next question is, the simplest and most common method used in the cities to collect and dump the waste in a landfill, river, ocean, or any of the above. The correct answer is A. Landfill. We can observe that most of the cities follows this method of collecting the waste from every house. They take it to a particular place and they just dump there, and it becomes a very big problem, as it sometimes it catches fire and leads to many problems, but this is the common method used in cities. The next question is, the good way of dealing with solid waste problem is landfilling, recycling, both A and B, or none of the above. Answer is B. Recycling is the most useful and best method to deal with solid waste problem, because we can keep on recycling it, recycle and reuse it, and reduce the usage of the solid wastes. The next question is, which of the following is the correct combination of e-waste in nature? E-waste indicates the electronic waste. Is it lead circuit boards, mercury in battery, cadmium in mobile phones, or lithium in calculators? The correct combination is answer B. That is, lead is used in circuit boards, cadmium is used in batteries, lithium is used in mobile phones, and mercury is used in calculators. These are all the four types, common types of e-wastes. The next question is, what do we call the collection of rainwater for using it? Is it rain collection, rainwater harvesting, rain digging, or rainwater dumping? It's rainwater harvesting. We know that rainwater harvesting, we collect the rain, take it to a nearby tank, and try to soak it to the underground so that the underground water table increases. The next question is, which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, or carbon monoxide? The correct answer is answer D. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, they are all greenhouse gases, whereas carbon monoxide is not classified as a greenhouse gas. Greenhouse effect is the warming of Earth's surface, that is, and the troposphere, that is the lowest layer of the atmosphere, caused by in the decreasing order. The highest contribution towards greenhouse gas is from the water vapor, next is carbon dioxide, next is nitrous oxide, next is methane, and the last one is ozone. Even though water vapor is unavoidable, but we can see that that is the one which has given most to the Earth's greenhouse effect. The next question is, global warming also referred to as climate change, ecological change, atmosphere change, or none of the above? The correct answer is answer A. It's true that water vapor is the largest contributor to the Earth's greenhouse effect. On average, it probably accounts for 60% of the warming effect. However, water vapor does not control the Earth's temperature, but it instead controlled by the temperature. And hence, the global warming is also termed as climate change. It results or it affects the entire climate, and hence it is called as climate change. The next question is, which of the following is or are the anticipated effects of global warming? It results in rising sea levels, disruption of habitats, expansion of deserts, all the above. Quite understandable, it is D. It results in the rising level. It is estimated that by 2050 the sea levels on average rise by 1 to 3 meters. Those cities or the places at the seashore, they are under threat. Even many habitats are lost, flora and fauna are affected, the desert land is increased, forest reduces, and hence it is all the above. The next question is, between what altitudes is the ozone layer found in highest concentration? 10 to 20 kilometers from the Earth's surface, 20 to 40, 40 to 55, or 55 to 70. The correct answer is answer B, 20 to 40. Ozone layer is mainly found in the lowest portion of the stratosphere, that is approximately between 18 to 40 kilometers above the Earth. Although its thickness varies seasonally and graphically. Not only that, ozone layer keeps on moving from one place to another place. Now it is observed that it is in Antarctica. This is the ozone layer. The blue colored portion is the ozone layer, which is between 20 to 40 kilometers. The next question is, the main cause of ozone depletion and ozone hole is halocarbon, refrigerant, propellants, foam blowing agents, all the above. The correct answer is B, propellants. The ozone layer prevents dash from passing through the Earth's atmosphere. Why ozone layer is very important for us? Is it that it avoids ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, X-rays, or all the above? The correct answer is A, UV rays. UV rays are very harmful to animal skin. It causes skin cancer. Ozone layer helps us in preventing that UV rays. If a ozone layer starts developing a hole in it, UV rays pass through that hole and causes skin cancer. At present, that hole is observed to be appearing in Antarctica region. The next question is, the following is used as refrigerant in automobiles, whether it is 134A, 134B, or 134C, or all the above. Correct answer is R134A. R134A is the most commonly used refrigerant. It has replaced Freon 12 because Freon 12 was very harmful to the environment, and hence the Kyoto Protocol has declared that R134A is to be used for all the refrigerants. International Day for the Preservation of Ozone Layer, or World Ozone Day, is celebrated on September 16th, September 18th, October 16th, October 18th. Correct answer is September 16th. Chlorofluorocarbons, CFC, cause acid rain, groundwater pollution, ozone layer depletion, all the above. The correct answer is answer C, ozone layer depletion. Chlorofluorocarbons are the main reasons for ozone layer depletion. That's why even these refrigerants are have been changed from Freon 12 to R134A. So because it releases CFCs which are very harmful to environment and even may cause the depletion of ozone layer. The next question is, broken safety guard in an industry comes under mechanical causes, chemical causes, human causes, environmental causes. The correct answer is answer A. Let us understand what are these causes. Mechanical causes in an industrial accident are mainly due to power or broken or damaged part, fire breakout, explosion, etc. Chemical causes are due to chemical hazards, chemical explosion, etc. Environmental causes are due to poor lighting, low visibility, ambient temperature, air pollution, sound pollution. Electrical causes are due to poor wiring, electrical shocks, wet hands, water on electrical fires. Human causes are due to stress, fatigue, etc. When we see all these things, broken safety guard, it's a broken one. That means it is mainly related to mechanical causes, and hence the answer is A. Thank you one and all. If you have any doubt, you can contact me. My mail ID is also there. My phone number is also there. I'll be very happy to assist you in clearing this DCET. Wish you all the best.